When fighting cancer means leaving home. American Cancer Society Hope Lodge communities are a home away from home. Patients and caregivers can access nearby treatment, gain support, and find peace for their stay, free of charge. Learn more at cancer.org/Hope Lodge.
You hear that sound? That's your wake-up call to download FanDuel to start getting more excitement, drama, and action out of every single play. Because that sound, that's the sound of the clock ticking on the 2023 NFL season. Now, I know what you're saying. Hey, voiceover guy, there's plenty of football left. And to that I say, well, aren't you lucky? You've still got time to cherish the season before February comes around and Sunday is just that day you head to the grocery store to stock up on oat milk.
Great. 50 cents off. Woohoo.
The NFL season is precious, so this year get even more out of every pass, every rush, and every tackle with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. New customers bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Make every moment more with FanDuel. 21 plus and present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See full terms at fanduel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hello and welcome to the Sage Advice Podcast with your host, Sin Sage. Today I am joined by Ariel X, and I am not even going to do any introductions. I want to hear Ariel. Please introduce yourself and say a little bit about, what you do and who you are.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ariel X. I've been in the adult industry since 2003. So that's 20 years of, putting my junk out online and having a good time. I would consider myself an authority on wrestling porn. So that's my niche. I'm the showrunner for two wrestling websites, evolvedfights.com and evolvedfightsles.com. And that's my full-time gig, but I also shoot for other companies doing lesy stuff, and it's all good stuff.
I do like having, my friends and colleagues on this show for a reason. And so I like to kind of talk a little bit about like how I first met you. And
Yeah.
So my first memory of you, it was a very, very long time ago. I've also been in the industry since 2003. So this was right when I started getting a more like mainstream bookings. So I was trying to get girl stuff in my early days, but I was still getting a lot of wrestling gigs, a lot of fetish stuff, things like that. And then I got hired because of Penny Flame. You remember her?
Yeah.
And she recommended me to Triangle Films, which is a company that no longer exists, but it was lesbian porn by lesbians for women, which was really, really an awesome thing. I always love when that happens. And so it was on set for Triangle Films, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but you were doing a scene with someone else and you had long black hair. And I have this memory, you had a really bad sunburn. Do you remember this?
I don't remember a super bad sunburn, but I mean, it has happened to me in the past for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I don't remember even it was at the Woodley house. I do remember that, but yeah. And that was the first time I remember meeting you. And after that, I all of a sudden, it's just like I knew you and I worked with you. Like,
That's
I don't
hilarious.
remember much.
So if I want to be stand out in people's memory, I need to be bright lobster red and sunburned.
Yes, but I don't think I've seen you with the black hair since then either.
I was doing the black hair for a long time. Probably started gradually going lighter like 4 years ago. And then when
Wow,
I
okay.
started getting gray hairs, and I was like, let's just do blonde. Let's just cover that up. And black hair is high maintenance when your hair is not naturally black. because your roots
Yes.
grow out. And then when you get gray hairs, then it really grows out and looks obvious. So
Yes.
I'm trying to do less maintenance, even though I did cut bangs recently, and that's high maintenance. But having dark hair with light roots coming in, it's a lot. I'd rather
It's
have
a whole
light hair
thing.
with dark roots coming in.
Yes, yes, it gets a little streak kind of action. It looks really beautiful right now. I love the bangs,
Thanks.
and yeah, the lighter hair, it really suits you very well. So I start these podcasts out by asking a question about basically what is the first memory that you have of encountering pornography?
Encountering pornography in general. In high school,
Yes.
there was different cliques, right? You got the skater cliques, the weirdo cliques, the church cliques, the cheerleader cliques. So I was the weirdo clique.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, the skaters would kind of commingle with the weirdos. They were all kind of in this. Sometimes we hated certain people, and then sometimes we were like vibed with certain people. That's just high school for you. So
Yeah.
in high school, I'd end up going to a party, and there would be some skater boys there, and they put on like hentai was the actual first porn that I actually saw.
Really?
Yeah. And it was amazing. I don't want to bastardize the name, but I believe it was something like it was called Yorosokodoshi, and it was pretty fucking crazy. A lot of giant like demon looking dicks ripping
Yes.
through a little girl
Yes.
cartoon person. So that was really, it wasn't a turn on for me. I was
Mm.
watching it and just found it really fascinating. Like, wow, there's an artist out here getting paid to create this, and that that fascinated me a lot.
Yes. Yes. I guess I kind of remember one of the early times that I encountered, animated, Japanese animated porn, and it was tentacles. It
Yeah,
was like tentacle porn. So it was like all the penises were these giant alien tentacles and stuff, and they were going into every orifice
they're fun.
possible. Yeah, so it sounds like it was kind of similar. It was like demon
I
cocks
think they're
instead of
all kind of the
aliens.
same, like, idea, and
Yeah.
they're all really cool. And then before that, it's not really porn, but I remember being a kid and staying up late and watching the Benny Hill show and seeing like this lecherous old man kind of lusting after beautiful big tittied women, and like just thinking that was hilarious as a kid. Being like, this is funny. Ha ha ha. So, I mean, I bet in today's world, if people watched Benny Hill, they would be like, me too. Like, it would be like this
Yeah,
horrible cancel thing. But I
right.
remember it as a kid and just thinking, this is funny. Like, it was all like sped up and had the funny music of him every time he chased a girl.
Mhm.
And that was fun. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So that was the first time you saw sort of like erotic entertainment. But when was the first time, or like, what was the first memory you have of like people seeing humans and not animation? Or what
In
was that like?
person, it's
Mm. Well, like magazines, or because I know we're kind of like the same era.
I
We're a
do
little
remember my dad had
pre-internet.
some like magazines in the garage that my brothers found, and they were like, "Oh, check this out." And then me trying to be
Yes.
cool, hanging out with my brothers, I'm like one of you guys. Let me see. Let me. Oh, yeah.
Oh, totally.
So it's just trying to be cool, hanging out with the older kids, but most, that was my brothers that I hung out with, and then just being like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, let's look at this.
And what did you like? How did that make you feel? Like, what did you looked at? Were you
At the time,
enticed or scared?
not scared, but I think at the time I was I was a kid, so I was looking at it, and
Mhm.
I found myself comparing myself to the girls, like, oh, I don't have boobs. Maybe I'll get boobs like that. Oh, is that hair? I hope I don't get hair down there. Just like, for me, it wasn't an arousal. It was more of a curiosity and trying to compare myself, or what am I going to look like when I get that age, and
Yeah.
that was my initial. I do remember that like a lot as a kid, always looking at girls and thinking, am I going to look like that? Am I going to
Right.
have boobs like that? Am I going to have hair like that? Is that
Yeah.
what happens when you grow up? And just always just feeling curious about that. But
Yeah.
I don't really remember ever being turned on by anything until like I was in my late teens. Like,
Yeah.
but not early. I remember being
Mhm.
very curious because I remember
Yeah.
having a couple of friends, neighbor friends, that they found their brother's sex toys, and so we would be
Ooh.
like, "Woo!" and then we would try to dangle them around and you touch it. Ew, you touch it. Put it over your panties. Oh, I touched you over the panties. Like just little goofy things like that. I don't even remember being aroused by it, but being curious and
Yeah.
having two girlfriends who were also equally as curious as I was, and then being like,
Yes.
"Did you did you uh did you want to put a plastic bag over it and put it in you?" No, no. Like
Oh, yeah.
little girl things, but not.
Yeah.
I don't remember actually being aroused by it, but just so curious.
Yeah. Well, especially when you encounter those things and you don't really have a lot of context yet, it's like, oh, yeah, the curiosity is, and we should always be curious. We should carry that with
Yeah,
us throughout our
for
lives.
sure. Absolutely. I'm still curious
Yeah.
today. Like if I see something, I'm like, what is that? And thanks to Google, why does this
Yes.
happen? And then
Right.
you get 90 wrong answers, but at least you feel like you have some understanding of it. So,
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I'm always looking up stuff on Urban Dictionary.
yeah.
Urban Dictionary. What does based mean? So I
Yeah.
found that out.
These youngsters teach me new stuff all day.
Yes, they do. Oh my gosh. So, all right, when was first of all, how do you identify your sexual identity?
Ah, such an I guess, how do I identify? I don't
Yeah.
know.
I mean,
I
if I can say you do seem to have a certain passion for women.
Yeah, absolutely. But here's the thing. So when you put labels on yourself, then when you put a label on you, people who also put that label on themselves are like, "You're not like that because I'm like
Uh,
that," and like people get really territorial
sure.
on labels. So
Yeah.
I guess the reality is I'm bisexual, right? Because I've have sex with a guy, and then
Yeah.
but I prefer females, and I love the ladies. And
Yeah.
if the penis person I'm having sex with currently ever passes away or disappears, um,
Yeah.
will most likely be in a relationship with a female because I'm always more in tune with females, and I can tolerate females. A lot of males, my tolerance for males is very very low. So
Yeah.
I'm a lot more
That's
forgiving with females. If I don't hate,
right.
it's not that I'm a man hater. I love men.
No.
I think they're great. They've
Yeah.
helped. I've had so many dudes help me with so many things, and I'm so grateful for it. And
Of
have like
course.
love for so many dudes out there. But also, I think it's no secret. Anytime you deal with the opposite sex, I never understand why you like that because I don't have a penis. My penis, I don't work like that. So, I can relate to females. I feel like I have empathy, a lot more sympathy with females, and I just
Yeah.
bond faster with them, and they're hot
Yes.
and sexy, and I like the way they
Yeah.
smell and they feel
Mhm.
good, and maybe we can wear the same perfumes, and maybe we can share clothes, and then our wardrobe expenses aren't as
Right? Yes. It's a nice idea. So so at what age did you kind of realize that that was your proclivity?
I mentioned my two neighbors, and I definitely, because we fooled around, like no lie, like just to put it out
Yes.
there, like at a very young
Yeah.
age in like grade school, where we were doing
Yeah.
things where if people walked in on us, they'd be like, what's happening? We're taking you
Yes.
away to camp. All of you.
Yes. Yes.
Pray the gay
I
away.
have- Yes.
So,
Yes. Yeah, many of us have had those
yeah.
same
So,
experiences, myself included. So,
but it was at the time thinking back at it being like, oh, we were just curious and
Yep.
but at the time it was
Yeah.
like I was curious and I was comfortable with exploring those things with those people because I was into those people. Like
Yeah.
there it was something I was consenting to doing and excited to be doing, not thinking, oh, I'm trying to get off, but oh, let's explore this. And because it's like, I guess you could say with any type of BDSM, like you have to have
Mm,
some sort of trust with the person you're going to do these things with, right? So I had trust with
exactly.
these people, my peers, these two girls, and
Hmm.
we were all willing to be curious and explore things and not judge each other. So
Yeah.
that made it easy and comfortable. And
Yeah.
looking back in hindsight going, oh, well, we were just curious, but it was like, yeah, we were curious, but we liked each other,
Yeah.
like liked in the
Like.
we we knew each other in the biblical
Yes.
sense.
Biblically. So, like when you were having those times together, at when it started, kind of, did you even have the context of what it means to be gay or like lesbian or queer at all, or was it just kind of that curiosity? And then at what point was it like you started to realize, oh, this might be this might be that gay thing that the world is talking about? You know
So
what I mean?
it's really interesting because this was back in the 80s, because I'm fucking old, right? So 80s
Yeah.
growing up, and that wasn't the thing I thought about. What we thought about, because we were playing
Yeah.
with somebody else's sex toys, touching them, we thought we were going to get
Hmm.
AIDS because everyone was talking about
Yes.
AIDS and all this stuff. And so we were like,
Yeah.
oh, I hope we don't get AIDS for touching sex toys, like, because we're young
Yeah.
kids, we don't know. And back then in
Yeah.
the 80s, they didn't know fucking anything about AIDS either. They were telling people all
No.
types of lies. So,
Yeah.
and they were just scaring people into, never touching anything. So,
Never having sex
yeah,
ever.
yeah. So that,
you just don't do that anymore.
like, I didn't even think about, oh, gay or straight. To me, it wasn't like I was watching Boy George on TV. He was my favorite. He was my favorite human being. I was like, that's
Yes.
just how things are. You're in the
Yes.
80s.
Yes.
This is life.
Totally.
But I was more worried about AIDS. God,
Yeah.
I don't want to get AIDS. So it never really crossed my mind about, oh, I hope people don't think we're gay. We were like, I hope people don't catch us. But it
Yeah,
wasn't
more
like,
about that.
oh, because they'll think we're gay. I just didn't want to be
No.
caught. It would have been,
Hmm.
who knows, like, I didn't want to get lectured.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it definitely felt like, whatever we were doing when we were that age, there was this visceral thing we understood that adults didn't want us doing this, kind of,
Mhm.
right? Like we knew we had to hide it, even if we didn't understand exactly why.
Yeah.
But that's shame. That's
Yeah.
what we call that. And we get a nice healthy dose of that, like pretty much right off the bat.
Yep. You're shamed the moment you come out of that vagina. They're
Yeah,
like,
pretty
you
much.
touched a vagina the second you were born. You're like, oh God, sorry.
You're like, oh no, I
Yeah.
sucked on my mom's boobies too
Yeah.
for food. Was that okay?
Shame.
Yeah, shame. So it's funny that you say Boy George, because for me it was George Michael.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I actually even remember when he came out, and then it was like he's gay, and I was like, what? My first thing with the gay was my mom. Some kids at school when I was in first grade were like, "You're gay," and I was like, I had to go home and be like, "Mom, what does that mean?"
Yeah.
And then when I found out George Michael was, I remember being disappointed. Because, then I could never grow up and marry him.
Yeah, that's true. I kind of always knew I was never going to marry Boy George, but I was like, we'll just be best friends and we could do each other's
Smart.
makeup.
You're smarter than I was. So when you did start to sort of go through puberty, like at that point, did you understand that you have more of an openness to being like in a relationship with women, or when did that kind of realize, or how did that realization sort of?
So I'm a weirdo, and I don't think I
Yeah.
was ever attracted. I didn't have crushes when growing up. I remember there was like certain teenage boys that everyone had the poster of, like, oh, he's a heartthrob.
Yes.
And like everyone was like, which new kids on the block do you want to marry? And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, huh?
Oh
None
yeah.
of them. I don't- like,
Ah.
huh? I didn't
Yes.
have crushes at all, and I kept thinking, okay, I'll get a crush, and I would get a crush on like a cartoon character. I'd be like, well, I like Chip from Chippendales. He's cool. I'll marry that guy. Like,
I
my
like.
brain was not thinking like the other kids. Like I.
Right. Yeah. My cartoon crush was Roger Rabbit
Yes.
because he makes me laugh. Um, but yeah, so that wasn't something so you didn't have like a high school relationship or.
No, I had a guy I dated in high school, but I didn't like him. I dated him because everyone said, "Oh, you should date him because he likes you." So I dated him for like 2 months, and we kissed. And I was
Uh-huh.
like, I don't. He's not. I don't really like him. And then everyone said I broke his heart, and I was like, okay, I just won't date people because I don't even know what I did wrong, and everyone's blaming me for breaking this guy's heart. So I don't.
Wow.
So, and then I dated another guy just because I thought everyone said again, "Oh, he really likes you. You should date him." So I was like, "Okay, I guess I'll date this guy." And he was cool.
Yeah.
We became really good friends, but I was like not romantically into anybody. Then I had a
Yeah.
best friend, a girl, and
Mhm.
she was just cool. We were just best friends, and we didn't really end up doing any like lesy stuff until like after high school, though.
Yeah.
I didn't do sex at all in high school. I was like,
Yeah.
I didn't there was no I didn't care. But
Yeah. You didn't have that hormonal drive.
I don't think anyone liked me enough to have sex with me. And I sure as shit didn't like anyone that much either. High schoolers are fucking awkward. Who the fuck
Yes.
wants to see the
Yes.
ugh.
I can
I didn't
relate.
even want to
Yeah.
have sex as a high schooler. I don't. The
Right.
thought of high schoolers having sex still, I'm like, ugh,
Right.
bleh,
Messy.
go away. Bleh.
So when did you start having like relationships with people? Well, in
Way
that way,
after high
sexual.
school, like when I was
Yeah.
like 20.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, 20. I lost my virginity to
Yeah.
flesh.
Right. Right. Right.
Virginity to flesh to at
Right.
20.
Okay. And can you tell us about that?
Um, there wasn't too much excitement. It was somebody I was dating. It was actually the brother of
Mhm.
my best friend. We were
Okay.
dating for a while, and yeah, we knew each other. So we knew each other for years, and then we started dating, and we're like, okay, sure, let's do it. Yeah, why not?
Now feels like a good time. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
And how did it feel afterwards for you? Were you kind of like, well, I got that over with, or were you kind of like,
I do think I remember thinking, I thought it was supposed to be more exciting, and it wasn't. It wasn't bad, but I was like,
yes,
that was okay,
it wasn't bad?
yeah. But the next day I went walking and I was like, now I'm a woman, everyone. Now.
Well, it's nice that it wasn't
It was
bad. I feel,
anticlimactic, but it wasn't
yeah,
horrible. It wasn't. I've heard horror stories of people's first times,
yeah,
but it wasn't.
yeah,
It was pretty unremarkable. Pretty
yeah.
unremarkable, definitely.
That's nice though to do it with. Well, because it sounds like it was your friend's brother, so you knew him for a
Yeah,
while
though he was
before.
my friend
Yeah,
too. But
right.
yeah.
And did you engage in like a sexual relationship after that?
Yeah. We were together for a very long time.
Mm,
Like on and off though.
okay.
And then yeah, it's just very anticlimactic.
So, have you ever dated a woman?
I have. Yes. Not for a very long time, though.
Hmm.
Especially in the industry. I don't date people within the industry. I kind of have tried, but I wouldn't say I've ever dated anyone in the industry. Like I've gone on dates and we've played around and stuff, but
Yeah.
no, yeah, like I tried, like I wanted to, but there were always, and I hate to say this because I know it sounds awful, but they were all kind of crazy. They were all really
Yeah.
jealous, and either they'd be jealous because you're doing more work than them, or they're jealous because you're having sex with other people all, so even though they do
Which,
too, but
even though
it's,
they do too.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it is just weird. So it's just drama, and I have zero
Yeah.
tolerance for that. So I'm just like,
Yes.
uh, it'd be a quick no, like
Yeah.
a nope right out of that fast.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
those don't
Yeah.
really,
Same.
they didn't really last long.
Yeah.
I dated I usually date like the butch type girls. Well, one because
Ah.
you could tell they're gay, like by looking at
Yes,
them.
and
So
that's a
you
big thing about being a girl who likes girls. It's really hard to tell.
Yeah, so and you don't
Yeah.
wanna, like, step on toes, but you see them, 'em, you're like,
Yeah.
"Alright, yeah, okay, yeah,
Like, definitely
we can
you.
be friends." So,
Yes.
uh, they're easy to pick out, and you're just like, "Alright,
Mhm.
this makes everything super easy. I don't even need to go to a quote unquote "gay bar." You just walk around
Right.
and be like, "Oh, she's gay. I could tell."
That one.
That one.
Yeah.
So, because I hate having to put work in
Yeah.
when you're dating. It's like, man,
Yeah.
just let me know. Where are you? Are you which way do you
Right.
go? So,
Yeah.
but then the butch type often are very jealous also. So,
Yeah.
but that's people,
Yeah.
human
No,
beings.
true.
So I don't want to
For
put a
sure.
label on, any particular,
Totally.
person,
I
but
mean, it's the same. Sometimes I'm also like, I don't ever like to say, oh, men are like this and women are like this. And it's just like, I don't find that super useful. But there are some situations where it's like, okay, I'm going to speak in generalizations right
yeah.
now. I think that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, there are stereotypes for a reason, but people are
Yeah, for
people. It
sure.
doesn't matter where they come
Definitely.
from. We all do stupid shit all the time, so it doesn't matter.
Absolutely. Yeah, and we all let our feelings just get a little wild sometimes, and that's okay. But yeah, I'm the same. Like, just the second there's drama, I'm like, all right, what are we? Why are we doing this?
Yeah, this could have been so good. Why are you ruining this?
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about how you came to be a sex worker. How you I hate okay, so all podcasts are like, so how'd you get into being a porn star? That's not really the question I'm trying to ask. It's more, what intrigued you down this path in the first place?
I have thought about this because I do get asked this question a lot. And I was like,
Yeah.
when you first get asked the question, you say something that you think you should say. And so I've given a couple different answers to this, but I've thought long and hard. When you're alone in a car and
Oh yeah.
you have just time to think, or you're on a hike and you're like,
Yep.
okay, I have to get to know myself here. So think about these
Yes.
things. So,
Yes.
this is as honest of an answer I think anyone can give you.
That's what I want.
This actually is going to make sense to you because I told you about how my brothers found I can't remember what magazine it
Mhm.
was, and they were gawking over the girls. Oh, they're so hot. Oh,
Yeah.
I remember that. That memory obviously sticks with me,
Mhm.
and so I think the reason not just got into porn but stayed at it was obviously
Yeah.
because I saw the attention that these women get, and I wanted that attention. So it's like that's a no. It's the real answer. like
Yeah.
like
That's a really great answer. And yeah, I mean, that's definitely a part of it, isn't it?
for me it was, and the money
Yeah.
was good. I liked the
Sure.
hustle. I liked trying to find the gigs. Like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, let's see. A photographer wants. At first it was art stuff. Oh, I'll do art
Yes.
I'm an artist. Because if you remember, when I was
I
talking
remember.
about the hentai, what I said was, I can't believe an artist is getting paid to make this. Like, it was art.
Yes.
Right? So when I was
Mhm.
first getting into porn, I was like, I'm going to do it artsy. You know, I don't know. I thought I'd be cool. I thought, I'm going to be,
Mhm.
I think a lot of people, when they get in the industry, they're all going to be, they all think, I'm going to be the one to change this industry. I'm going to do something so different that it's going to blow everyone away. That's how we think about ourselves. I've heard this. I've said this to myself, and I've heard every fucking porn star I've ever talked to say this. I'm gonna. Nobody knows what I got. I'm gonna change the industry. I'm gonna do this new artsy fartsy thing. Mine's different. Sure it is.
Mine's different.
Mine's different. Sure it is. You're putting stuff in your
Right.
pee hole, so
Yeah.
it's the same. It's all the same. just
Yeah.
just acknowledge it. But so I did try, I was like, I really got into the hunt for the gigs, right? And I liked
Yeah.
I was really into horror movies, so I was doing a
Yes.
lot of gore horror, like B-rated horror movies.
Yeah.
And
Jealous.
for some reason there was a lot of affinities with porn and gore. So
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
same, like you they all kind of mingle, like the people,
They
they're
do.
they're the same people.
Yeah. I mean, to this day, it's the same. I have friends who've done a lot of B horror movie stuff that are in the industry. They're in the
No,
porn
I'm not a
industry for sure.
scientist, right? But I did read an article off Google, because remember I said you start thinking of something and then you Google it and you'll get 50 wrong answers. So one of the 50 wrong
Sure.
answers I probably read once, it mentioned that the brain produces the same chemical when you're scared and when you're turned on. So
Yes.
it's like people will watch horror movies, and that thrill of that anticipation, like, what's gonna happen next, is kind of the same
Yes.
feeling you get, like, am I gonna see a boobie?
Yeah. It's
So
very related. Yeah, it's very related. So that's awesome. So would you say you identify as an exhibitionist?
I'm not gonna say I do, because
Okay.
my definition of exhibitionist is someone who does it, like, in public. And I know that sounds weird, because the public does
Mm.
end up seeing me, but
Mm-hmm.
the way I compartmentalize this, or make it separate,
Mm.
is I go, I'm behind a camera, and there's a veil between you being able to touch me and
Yeah.
you being able to turn your kid's face away from me. you know
Oh, yeah, definitely.
but
For sure.
so
Yeah.
and so I don't know what you the real definition of exhibitionist, or what your definition of it is. So I'm telling you what I
Mm-hmm.
think it means to me, and why I
Okay.
don't identify as that. So
Okay.
I identify as an artist. No,
No.
I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. Totally kidding. A performer who happens to
Yeah.
be okay being naked, but I'm not
Yeah.
going to go out in public and go do that. You know?
Yeah. I mean, well, I definitely think that is one definition of it for sure. Um, but I guess the way that I think of it is like, or for myself, is more like, even if it's just the photographer or the camera person, it's like, yeah, I do want to take my clothes off in front of you, kind of a thing. Or one thing I know about my partner and I is like, we really enjoy being watched. So if it's but in adult play spaces, not
Yeah,
like
yeah.
let's go down to the park and fuck, and like hopefully people see us like that. That's
That's
that's a
creepy.
line too far for me. Yeah, exactly. And also, I don't ever want to be in a situation ever where I have to interact with a cop. So I try to avoid situations that might lead to that.
Yeah.
But I do get like there's definitely a thrill. Anymore after 20 years, it's like I go on a set and I don't get as much of the thrill because we've done this a lot, right? just the first time you go to a photographer and you're doing a photo shoot or something, or like anytime I'm in a place where people have their clothes all on, it's like, okay, now it's a place where you can take yours off to get paid. I'm like, yay. Like, I don't know. It feels good.
Yeah, I guess it's situational. So it depends on my
Yeah,
comfort level. Where it doesn't
totally.
obviously bother me because this is what I do for work, but
Yeah.
it's not something I seek. I'm not like,
Yeah, of
hey, honey
course.
bunny, let's go have a party and then just make everyone watch us have sex. Although I probably would do something like that, but I don't like seek it out.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. There's plenty of things that I enjoy if they happen.
Yeah. Okay,
Like
I can dig that.
like threesomes. So, I don't necessarily, I'm not hunting down, I'm not looking on websites trying to find someone to join us, but like when that occurs, it's very fun and exciting, and I enjoy it quite a bit.
Yeah, when it's
Um,
organic, it's way fun.
yeah,
You're just like, oh my
yeah.
God, this is so cool. And I don't have to do all the work either. It's like, I can tap out and go grab a sandwich and then come back.
Yes. So okay, so you're currently in a relationship.
Yeah.
You guys have been together for quite some time, right?
Yeah. Like 15 years.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah.
So is that something that has happened in the past, or
15
is
years? How old do you think I am? How many 15-year
no, no, no,
relationships do you think I
no,
can have
no,
in a lifetime?
no, I meant the threesomes
Oh, yeah.
with your partner.
Yeah. For sure.
Sorry. Yeah, so I find, well, something that I have found is that when it does happen, when it happens organically, it's almost like it fires something up in me. It like makes me even more attracted to my partner.
Sure.
Does that happen
Same.
for you too?
Yep. It's like, oh, somebody else wants you. That makes me want you more. Like
Yes.
it's just, it's good. It's
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 great.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
get
So I think,
jealous. I think I used to. I don't know. It depends. Everything has to be
yeah.
respectful. But no, I don't think
Yes.
I've ever gotten jealous just for the act of it. But if
Right.
something sneakily happened behind my back, I'd stab somebody. No.
No, for sure. That changes
But that's just out of a
everything.
respect thing. You're like, I don't.
It's a
Yeah.
respect thing, 100%. Yeah. But it's interesting because something that I've heard talked about before, and it's like, so, and especially in really long-term relationships, they call it the 7-year itch or
Hmm.
whatever. And I can see it just kind of being, there's times where there's like peaks and valleys, and that's like being with someone for a really long time. And I think it's really important to, if you're in a valley, not just be like, oh, this is it, and I think that a threesome is such a great, safe, fun, exciting way to, get back onto a peak again. And I think, this my little take on it is that there is a little bit of jealousy, especially the first couple of times. And then as you together for longer and longer, it lessens. But I think that like the little bit of jealousy is kind of that spark somewhat. If you can manage it, if you can be like, you know what I mean? It's like,
I guess, it's kind of like when a friend dies and it makes you stop and think about your own mortality, right? You go,
yeah,
oh, this person died. So now you see what your your partner potentially cheating on you, and it forces you to look like, oh, what if I didn't have this person? Oh, and then you think
mm,
about it and you go, oh, I want this person. I don't want to lose this person. And then you
yeah.
appreciate them a little bit more.
Yes, yeah, it's like that appreciation, and then also the thing of like seeing your partner through someone else's eyes,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like seeing the way they look at them, and you're like, yeah, he is hot, isn't he? Yeah,
Yeah,
I know. Now
totally.
suck his dick. No.
Yeah. Boss them around. Yep. Totally.
Yeah.
I also just like
And
seeing if they have ever any different skills. Like, what are you doing down there?
right?
Hey, show me that.
Yeah.
What is that?
What can you show
Yeah.
me?
How many fingers
And
is
like,
that? Oh, okay.
uh I like to because I know how good my partner is at eating pussy. So when he's eating her pussy, I'm like, pretty good, huh?
That's awesome.
You like that,
Aw.
right? I know. Trust me, I know.
That's nice. Aw.
Well, I do like to share, because, and then I also feel like it kind of it makes me feel even more secure in my relationship.
Sure.
And so it's fun, and it's just fun. And I need women too, so I'm like,
Absolutely.
and that's what's cool about it, is especially when it's like we are both attracted to her and she is attracted to me and him. Like it's
Mhm.
like me, I have to be the main, I have to be the, it's like we've been with girls before who was like they're more into him than me, and
Mhm.
it's just never as good,
That's
you
fun.
know.
Yeah, because like they're not munching your box as much, and you're just kind of over there like playing Nintendo while they're playing. You're like, all right, let me know when you guys are done.
Exactly.
That's fine too,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah,
but it's
but
not a
you.
threesome.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's really that mutual attraction all the way
Yeah,
around.
yeah, totally. Yep,
Good
I
times.
get it. Yeah. I think I used to have like a cheating fetish where I wanted people to cheat on me.
Mm.
And I kind of like
Ooh.
sabotage them and be like set them up for it. And then I like to scream and yell at them. I don't know why. It was
Wow.
weird.
So you've done that in past relationships.
Yeah, I know for sure I did. I would set them up and be like,
Yeah.
okay, wow, you did the thing I said to do. I don't know why. It was weird, but it was like a little fetish of mine, like, it turned me on a
Yeah.
little weird way, but I don't do that anymore because I realize
Yeah.
it's really dysfunctional, but I
Ugh.
do remember that, if I'm being
And it
honest.
is
Yeah,
kind of
and I
that
know
drama.
I met somebody else who had a cheating fetish,
Hmm.
and it was a really interesting after, um talking to this person about it, and or just they kind of took it to a next level, and I was like, oh
Hmm.
yeah, this is dysfunctional. I don't want to be like that. So you know what, it's always funny because human beings will have a weird habit, and then when we have other people do it to us, we're like, oh shit, I gotta stop that. So
Yeah.
it's
Well,
kind
it's
of a
hard to
blessing.
see. Yeah, it is. It is a blessing because seeing the forest for the trees when you're in
Yeah,
the forest is pretty difficult.
absolutely.
And we've got this little thing called an ego that's like, no, you don't do anything wrong
Yeah, you're
ever. It's
perfect.
them. Yeah.
Yeah. It's everyone else in the world. You're perfect.
Right.
It definitely having it done to you makes you self-reflect and go, "Ah, shit, I've been doing that to
Right.
people. I don't like the way that made me feel, so I'm not going to do that anymore."
Right. Yeah. It takes a lot of self reflection, and introspection to realize those things without it having to happen to you. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's a lot of work.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
work being a good person.
So hard being good.
Yeah. So I want to go back to your career a little bit. Do you remember some of the first time you did a photo shoot, or what was it? What was the first gig that you ever got, and how did you get it?
I don't remember the very, very first gig I got.
Or the first one you can remember?
I remember flying to, I think it was Minnesota, because I found
Wow.
a photographer who shot. Um, he was a photographer for BDSM gear, so it was like
Mm,
furniture, but also some interesting clothing. Like I remember one
mm,
of the things was a service tray. I don't remember exactly how it went on, but it was like a gag, but then it also had a tray that
yeah.
you could like service people.
And your arms were maybe like behind
Something,
your back.
yes. I don't
Yeah.
remember. This is 20 years ago, so my brain is
Yeah.
like, I don't remember. I had seen on his portfolio that he had good pictures, and he submitted to magazines. So I think the
Mm,
submitting to magazines is what I was like, oh, maybe I'll get submitted to magazines then.
yes.
So I flew out to Minnesota, and he was like, well, you can stay at my house. And I remember thinking, oh my God, he's going to kill me. Like, like
Oh
weird.
yeah.
Cause this is like, like why, how stupid am I to just go fly
Yeah.
out and meet this stranger and then stay at his house. But he was actually so
Yeah.
cool. He was like
Yeah.
the nicest guy in the world. And he just happened to have a weird basement with a ton of BDSM crap down there. But he was so cool. And then he sent
Yeah.
me some photos and helped me. He gave me like tips on web stuff, like, okay, you should open a website, buy the domain. If you ever have
Wow.
passwords, you should make the passwords different for every site because people hack all the time. Like, I'll never forget, he taught me that thing, like, always make a unique password, but make it something you can remember, just, blah, blah. Like, um, he was cool.
Yeah.
So I remember
Yeah.
that guy because I remember being terrified, being like, "Oh my God, what if he kills me?" But then ending up being like, "He was the nicest guy in the world."
Yes. It's interesting that you had that foresight to even have that fear. Because I remember one of the first shoots that I did in LA. I lived in Palm Springs at the time, so it was very far drive to get to LA for the
Mhm.
shoot. And he's like, "You'll come out here, you'll stay the night, and then we'll do the shoot the next day." And I was like, "Okay." And I just went there, and I was like, "Okay." Like I was so like
Yeah.
not even
Well,
thinking about
I'm
that
also
stuff.
obsessed with ever since I was a kid, read about like Ted Bundy and all these serial killers. I was
Me
like
too.
obsessed with true crime
Me
from a very
too.
young age. So as an adult, I'm like, I'm doing all these things that these girls, the models get killed all the time. I hear about photographers killing models all the time. I'm
Yes.
gonna be another statistic. But
Yeah, I mean, I was into the same shit. I just never put like the two and two together. I was just so oblivious. Like, and I still feel like I'm oblivious in some ways, a
I
lot of
guess
ways.
that's being happy. And I think the
Yeah,
word ignorance is bliss, I guess.
it's the
But
thing.
so
Yeah,
you're like,
it's the
if you don't
thing.
know you're gonna die, then you can at least die, but not be in fear the whole time.
Yeah, die with no anxiety. It's
Yeah,
nice.
it's a more peaceful death. Yeah.
Yeah, what a way to go. So at some point you started to get really into fitness and bodybuilding, and you have a whole blog for that and stuff too, right?
Yeah. So
How did that come about?
a breakup. Gotta get the revenge body.
Oh, okay.
Got to break up with the partner I have now, but we broke up, and I was like, okay, so he was really into fitness, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna get a really hot body, and then I'm gonna do fitness shows. I'm gonna become a super babe, and this person's gonna regret. Yeah, the stupid
Yeah,
revenge that everyone has. So that
right.
was that was where the fitness came from. But I just like the discipline.
Yeah,
I do like working out. It makes
yeah,
me feel good. Lifting weights makes me feel good.
yeah.
Doing cardio and almost dying makes me feel good. I like doing things that don't kill me but could, you know?
Push you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like I do jujitsu every day, and like every day
every
I
day.
almost, well, I try not Saturdays and Sundays. Not
Mm.
every day. That's a lie. Cuz I'm getting older, and I used to do like jujitsu twice a day, so I do a morning class and a night class. But now
Wow.
I'm getting to the point where I'm like, I probably only do it realistically 3 days a week now. But
Yeah,
so I'll do it. I do it regularly. But
yeah.
every day I'm in class, there's somebody actively trying to kill me, like strangle me or break my arm, and I don't die. And every day I'm like, oh, that was so hard. That was so challenging, and that was so fun. So,
Yeah,
but I like that discipline, like
right.
forcing yourself to go to the gym. Just getting there is like,
Yeah,
and this is,
hard.
nowadays, if you go on Instagram, every chick on the internet is a influencer fitness model, but 20 years
True.
ago they weren't. And I
Yeah.
got so much flack for, oh, you have too much muscle, you look like a
Ugh,
guy.
ugh.
Ugh. you shouldn't
Mm,
be lifting weights. You know, it's
yeah.
gonna make your clit grow. And I was like, that's
Oh
not how it
God.
works. Okay.
You're
Um,
like, I'm not taking steroids.
yeah.
I'm just lifting
I'm like,
weights. It's
people
different.
are so crazy. They're crazy. Back then, I was one of the only females in the gym, and that was
Yeah.
cool. And I remember thinking, "Oh, I'm doing something other people don't do." Thinking other
Right.
females don't do this. And
Hmm.
nowadays, I walk into any gym. I live in Las Vegas, and it's like the mecca of fitness, and everyone looks like a Greek chiseled god because they're like Cirque du Soleil performers or like some sort of,
Yeah.
you know, body performance artist, and you're just like,
Yeah.
oh, these people are so gorgeous. So, you know, as fit as I think I am, I have all these other people that I look at and I'm like, God damn, they're fucking gorgeous. So I'm not the only one.
Wow.
I'm clearly not the only one working out anymore.
Right. No, but you are stunning. Your physique is amazing,
Thank you.
sculpted.
Thank you.
But that's a little interesting topic of, when we do this type of work, but really anyone who chooses to put themselves out there on the internet in a big way, more than just a personal account type of thing, a very public way, we we just have to accept that part of the job is that people are going to feel entitled to tell us about our own bodies.
Yeah.
And the thing that I've noticed is that you can never make them happy, no matter what you do.
Well,
So
that's
it's like,
anything. Yeah. You
yeah,
can't make everyone
well,
happy
that's
all the time.
anything.
Yeah. It's
That is
like,
anything,
I,
for sure. But it's like, especially with the comments from people, so personally for my life, there was a time when like I gained a lot of weight, and people were telling me I had dad bod and things like this. And then just naturally my body doing what it does, I've lost a lot of that weight. I didn't try. Like, I didn't do anything.
yeah.
um, and then I have people saying, you're too skinny, you looked better when you had more fat on you and stuff. So it's just like, no matter what you do, there's gonna be haters.
Ah,
And the
yeah.
thing about it is that, like, the haters are minuscule compared to all the people that tell me how much they love me and give me compliments every day.
Yeah.
But it's just their hateful words just stick. They're
Well,
sticky.
because pain is one of the biggest influencers, right? So if
Yeah.
you touch your hand on a hot stove, you go, "Oh, I'm never doing that again."
Right. Right.
I mean, it just pain is the thing that drives you the most.
Yeah.
It influences you the most. So when somebody says something painful, you're going to be like, "Oh, that hurt." That I remember that.
Right.
I remember that more than something that made me happy. That's just in our nature to do that. And it's
It
funny you
is.
mentioned this, that you can't make everyone happy. I don't know. I don't, this has nothing to do with it, but I remember I was walking through my laundry room and I had this thought going, I'm just a misfit. I've always been a misfit and I'll always be a misfit. Like in high school, I was too smart or too much of a tomboy or too ugly
Mhm.
or too fat, then too skinny, too muscular. In porn, it was like, oh, you don't do hardcore enough porn because you don't have sex with guys. Oh,
Mhm.
you know, but then the mainstream or anyone outside of porn, oh, but you are in porn because you shoot lesbian porn. So it's like you never fit into any
Yeah.
group, and you always tell people how you don't belong. You're not like this, you're not like that, you're not muscular enough to be in this magazine, you're too muscular to be in this magazine, or it's
Yes.
always something, and it doesn't
There's a
matter.
lot of that in porn
It's
too.
just
Yeah.
yeah, and especially in porn. Like, you don't have
Yeah.
tattoos. You don't have enough tattoos. You have too many.
Mhm.
It's
Too
just
many
like,
tattoos.
okay,
Yeah, you're not skinny enough to be this, but you're not fat enough to be
yeah,
that. You're not blonde enough to be this, but you're not
yeah,
brunette. Yeah.
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 I just never fit in anywhere. I'm either
Yeah.
too much of something or not enough of something, and that's always been my
Yeah.
whole life. And I'm like, and I remember thinking it. Somebody said something, and that's why it made me think of that thought going through my laundry room. I remember
Right.
the place I had that thought. I was like,
Yeah.
fucking laundry room. I had this terrible thought. Um, I'll never forget that laundry room now. I'm gonna be 43 in May, and I'm still
Yeah.
I'm a fucking misfit. I don't fit in anywhere. I make too much
But
money to hang out with some people because they think I'm too rich. I don't make enough money to hang out with some people because they think I don't make it. I'm not a billionaire. I'm not a
right.
millionaire.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
you know, so it's like, I don't have friends. Nobody
Um,
I'm a misfit.
well, but that's the thing is that, you know, all I can say, as someone who also sort of feels like a misfit in general and has, but when I was in high school, I hit this point where it was like, be the misfit. That's you. And since then I've just been like, I'm gonna just do me. And if it doesn't fit into these notches and these spaces, well, cool, because it's just about being yourself, right? And then everybody always talks about being yourself, but when you try to just do that thing.
You mean when people
um,
talk about being based? Oh, I'm bringing it all the way back.
yes,
Bringing
back full circle. Yes, bitch, I'm based. We are based, and that's all there is to
it, right?
it. We are based, and that's the thing, and that's what I feel so strongly about being authentic and being yourself, and that's what I always want to encourage people to do. And I think you're just an amazing example of that. And look at how, you have done you, and you're so successful because of it. And you have this incredible brand, and, people look up to you. And I think that's really exciting and satisfying.
It's great, and I like that some people do look up to me, and some people do come to me for mentorship, and that's something I am proud of. And but you said the word
You should
satisfied,
be.
and I thought, yeah, I should be satisfied. But then I go, but I want more. I don't. It's always that coveting, right? That's my original sin. But
Yeah.
showing my vagina, that's not a sin. It's that
No, that's fine.
it's the
That's fine.
ambition. Sometimes my
Yes.
ambition is
Yes. But then you have the thing about ambition is, every goal you reach, then there's more and
you
more
need
and more.
more. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
You're in a hell because it'll never be
Because
enough.
then, yeah, when is it?
Yeah.
Or then you get the things that you always dreamed of, and you're like, huh,
Now what?
huh,
No, I don't
yeah.
have a purpose.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right.
So there's always more because well, you know what, just be happy with what you got. That's the moral of the
Yeah.
story. But I also
Uh,
think it's healthy to want more, and as long as it's good, as long as you're wanting to do
yeah.
more good things. Like I want to reach more
Yeah.
people in a positive way, if that's possible.
Yes. Yes. And
So
I think that is good. Obviously everything in life is balance. So
yeah,
it's about finding that balance, and not beating yourself up for, maybe being okay with, not beating yourself up if you didn't get the thing.
but yeah,
What is the
it's just
thing?
a thing. It's just a
It's
thing,
just a thing.
anyways. There'll be a new thing.
Yes, there will always be things. But love yourself. That's the point.
Amen. That's right.
All right. And that is a perfect moment to transition to our question segment of the show. So, you down to answer a couple questions with me?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Okay, this first one. Now, something that I know about you is that you are a fan of butt stuff. Is that right?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I like it. I dig it. I
Mm-hmm.
like doing it. I don't care to watch it for some reason. Like I don't
Oh, yeah.
like watch it, but I like doing it
I
for sure.
don't watch porn at all, so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
understand.
Okay.
when you're
And
when you do it,
people always want to ask what porn I watch. I'm like, I don't.
me too. You
I,
just don't.
I,
When you do it for a living and you've done it for 20 years, it's just not. It just doesn't have the same.
yeah.
It doesn't have
I'd
the same
rather do
impact.
it. Yeah.
Yes, always rather do it. All right. Well, this is a great question for you then. So, could you suggest to me the best way to titillate one's asshole? Oh, yep. I forgot to tell you. I'm a man straight. Hope to hear
So
from you soon.
So I have follow-up questions though for
Mm.
this person asking, because I'm assuming this guy's asking how to titillate his own asshole.
It does. That is the assumption that I made. Or
Okay.
yeah, because you suggest to me the best way to titillate one's asshole, like one's
One's own.
own. I think.
Um, well, first off, don't do it in a jacuzzi or a bathtub. Because if something leaks out, now you're bathing in your own doo doo. So don't ever
Yes.
do that.
Yes.
um,
Mm-mm.
use lube. Start with fingers. Cut your nails first.
Oh yes.
File them. Make them nice and gentle to the
Smooth.
touch.
Mm-hmm.
And just get a nice. I like silicone lube for butt stuff, but if you have an allergy or you're like one of those holistic people who, doesn't use anything that casts a shadow, then just use spit is great. Um, coconut oil is fine. I don't know.
Oh, coconut oil. Love coconut
It
oil.
it might give you a little maybe some weird farts, but yeah. But
That's fine.
be okay. Also, be okay with farts because they're hilarious. You're gonna live this
Oh,
life with the same amount of farts anyway, so you might as well find them
yes.
funny. So,
They are hilarious. Farts are never not funny, people. So
yeah, yeah, they're the
always
best.
keep that in mind. But yeah, definitely when you're playing, as one gets into playing with butts, one must be prepared for the stuff that can come
and
out of butts.
yeah, stuff can come out. Air is going to come
Yeah.
out, maybe a little more than air, maybe what we call
Mm-hmm.
the butt jelly. So
Oh,
after
butt jelly.
you've been giving it the old in out, sometimes the butt has its own lubrication because
Mm-hmm.
this is going to get gross. When you push out
Get gross.
a little turd, your body creates a lubrication to help that little turd come out. So
Ah.
anytime you get an in out, your butt is going to start
Mm.
going, oh, I need to create this extra, you know, stuff,
Lubrication. Yeah.
extra jelly to help
Eh,
push this thing out just a little bit.
yeah.
So you'll get a
And
little
it'll
butt jelly
mix.
with
It'll mix with the
the
lube.
lube or the spit, and then you
Yeah.
get
Right.
this weird like gelatinous.
It
You
is
think
very
of a wet
gelatinous.
fart, like if you've ever had a shart, like just a wet shart,
Yes,
that's what's gonna come out. So,
that's what it
um,
is.
also, I'm gonna start with the funny stuff and just the true fact stuff, and then I'll actually give this guy an answer. He's gonna be like, "You fucking asshole! Stop making a mockery of my joke. I was serious." Because
Yes.
it's a good question. So the actual how to titillate it. So you want to use
Yes.
lube. Start with something small, preferably your own finger, so you can feel, you know, yourself. Uh, to just get comfortable exploring your body. Also,
Yeah.
explore touching with your own fingers. And now this is weird. You'll be able to feel like changes in your body. If you start feeling like, oh, that's a lump that wasn't there before, it's helpful
Yeah.
for you. So it's
It
really
is.
good for you to explore it
Yep.
anyways. So get used to exploring your body, feel it with your own fingers and go, hey, that wasn't there before. Should I get that checked out?
Yes. And the
Um,
answer is yes.
yeah.
Get it
Um,
checked out.
get it checked out. And then
Yeah.
you know your body better than anyone else, so do it. Get that little lube on your fingers. Start slow. Don't try to ram a finger in. Just literally what you do is you put pressure, just a little bit of pressure with your fingertip, and then you know you're gonna act. If you want it to go in a little further, you're actually gonna push your butt like you're taking a poop. I know that sounds gross.
Yeah.
It's a good
No,
idea to enema before you do any butt play, just to give a quick
it's
little
true.
rinse out so that that little poop deck is all cleaned out so that when you
Yeah.
do put the finger in, you're not getting any bacteria in your fingernails. Because even if you wash your
Mm-hmm.
hands, you're gonna have a little turd in your
Yeah.
cuticle there. So you want
Or
to
use gloves.
use
Use a
gloves
like a
is
latex
great.
glove, a rubber glove. Yeah.
That's all. Like that's the best way to keep your hands clean. But
Mm-hmm.
hey, you know what? You're getting frisky. You don't have time to go down to the CVS and pick up those gloves. I get it.
True.
So, um, just maybe a little rinse out with just a little swisher, like
Mm-hmm.
quick little
A little squirt.
squirt up there, push it out.
Mm-hmm.
So and the reason this enema is a good idea is because as you're trying to apply pressure inward, you're going to be pushing outward, like you're pushing a turd out to help it facilitate that whatever thing you're sticking into your bum, it'll allow it to go in deeper. So
Yeah.
that's a little tip for you. Make sure your
Yeah.
butthole's clean because
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to gross yourself out. And
Yeah.
sometimes the smell will put you out of the mood, and
Yeah, it
you'll be
can.
like, "Oh, I'm shaming myself. I'm playing with my
Right.
eh, eh.
It's just me here
It's
and I'm
just me."
embarrassed.
So just give it a little rinse, a little, and then use some lube and push the object in while your
Mm,
butthole is pushing out.
yeah. Yeah, and it'll go up more
Yeah.
easily, go in more
And go
easily,
at your
yeah.
own pace. Don't
Totally.
do what you see in porn because that's not
No.
realistic for your first time trying something out.
No. Right.
Just
It's like if you were watching gymnastics at the Olympics, okay? You're not going to go your first time trying to do gymnastics and go off the parallel bars and do flips and spins. Like
you could
you're going to do
try,
a summer
but you're
you're
gonna
going to
get
do a
hurt.
somersault.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could try, but you're going to hurt yourself. Just do the somersault.
Start at your own comfort level and
Yeah.
go from there.
Yeah. And then another thing for a man is, they do make toys specifically to stimulate your prostate. And once you've got once you've gotten comfortable with your finger or two and you've done that a few times and it feels good and you're down for it, maybe you get a small silicone toy. Make sure it has a flared base so you don't lose it because you can lose things in there. So don't just go sticking stuff up in there
Yeah.
willy nilly
Go
like
ask an
random
EMT.
objects.
EMTs have stories of people getting stuff stuck up their butts all day.
All day. You do not want to be one of those stories. Yeah, I'll say, my partner got this one toy that you turn it on and that you put it up in there, and it actually like does a little sort of come hither motion directly onto your prostate. Do that, put that in there, and make it do that, and it does that while you jerk off, and you might have just an absolute revelation.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing. Don't be scared of it, and don't let anyone
Yeah.
shame you because it's totally
No.
normal. Most people do it. They just don't
Yes.
talk about it. But
Don't talk about it.
I'll tell you from the people I talk on my OnlyFans or direct messaging on everything,
Yeah.
a huge population of dudes, especially guys who are straight dudes who identify as straight dudes.
Yes.
They're absolutely into butt play.
So much. And yeah, straight men asking me to peg them or to
Mhm.
make pegging videos all the
Yeah,
time.
all day, all day.
So,
It's
and
totally
that's the
normal.
thing. Yeah, there's nothing gay about the butt. It's just a thing that, like everybody has one.
Yeah,
So if it feels good, fucking do it.
yeah.
Like,
Explore that.
yeah,
Have
explore that.
fun.
And that's
The
what's cool.
playground.
Yeah, and it sounds like he is curious,
Yeah,
and we encourage
we
that
encourage it.
curiosity.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Play
So
with that
find another,
butthole.
yeah, find as many ways to bring pleasure to yourself as humanly possible.
For sure.
And that's what we're here for. Find the pleasure. Okay, so one more question.
Yeah.
Hey there, Sin. In a recent episode, you mentioned how excited you'd get if a guy pulled out a toy when you were with him the first time and how it would level him up. What are some must-have toys every guy should consider having on hand if he wants to potentially level up in the bedroom? So there's a couple different ways of looking at this, actually. On the one hand, you shouldn't be pulling out like a dildo insertable type toy and be like, hey, see what I got here? Because I feel like then the person you're having sex with might be like, how many other people has he pulled this toy out
Yeah.
with?
Like, how many people have used that? Can I smell that first?
Yeah, can we go? Do you also have the toy cleaner? Can you clean it in front of me,
Yeah.
please? Like,
Yeah, can we get the black light in here so I can see what's on that?
something to consider. But I do think that understanding that for many women or people with vaginas, there is an aspect of vibration that is very, if not very important, can be very, amplifying to the scenario. So I think probably if I'm imagining what I would have said, maybe I was saying if I was with someone and they were like, hey, I got this Hitachi, do you want it? Because I'd probably be like, yes. And like, hey, you have a Hitachi? Great. Magic wand, sorry.
Yeah.
Magic wand, it's called now. But to me, it's just that it's really more about the fact of the other person, especially if it's a man, like advocating for my pleasure, like right off the bat, like showing me that it's my pleasure matters to him. I feel like that's what the thing is.
Yeah, I think that's a great response, actually. I was thinking when he initially said toys, the two came to mind to me that would
Mm,
I think are fun. And one,
yeah.
it kind of goes along with what you were saying because it has a vibration, but those
Mhm.
the cock rings, or you could put them around your balls and cock, and they vibrate.
Yes.
Those are fun.
Oh, yes. And that's good because that's a toy for him.
Both of them, yeah, and for
Yeah.
everyone, yeah. But like you
Yeah,
brought
no,
up
but it's like
about
he
bringing the
puts it
giant.
on himself.
Yes, and I like how
Yeah.
you brought up, like, if you just whipped out a big dildo, that I would totally think I'd be like, "Ugh,
Yes, like,
ugh,
like maybe
uh-uh."
if it's in the box, that's a different
Yeah,
story,
I
right?
still would, ugh.
Right, right.
Yeah, the cock rings, the vibrating cock rings, and I like,
Mhm.
the pocket pussies, the vibrating pocket pussies, so the female or the other person, the partner can
Yeah.
jerk the person off with that.
Uh-huh.
It's fun.
Uh-huh.
So both people get
Yeah.
some pleasure, that's fun to
Mhm.
me too. So those are the 2
Yeah.
toys that I like. Or again, to your point, like whip out a Sibian. That's awesome.
Yeah, the only thing about a Sibian specifically is kind of like it's like you sit there and do that and then you get off and then come be in bed with me, like, because it's a whole separate unit.
Oh, now if you put the Sibian low and they're standing and you can do things.
Yes. Oh, yes, of course. That sounds great.
Great for a whole
But
party.
yes, yes, the whole party. But yeah, so I think it's just like keeping in mind the sort of the hygiene aspects of,
Yeah.
sharing toys. But so I love that idea of pulling out, yeah, anything that vibrates really, especially like what you were saying, the vibrating cock ring is a great idea, because that too would just sort of like introduce the concept of vibration, and you can be like, what if I put this on, do you think you would like that,
Yeah.
and she can decide from there. And then if she's like, oh, I love vibration,
Yeah.
then maybe you could be like, oh, well, I also have this doxy or this magic wand. And then with the magic wand, you can just pop a condom right over the top of it. Like
Yeah.
easy peasy, doesn't change anything about the sensation. And then you can hold it on her clit or you can give it to her, something like that. And then it's like you're saying to her, I want you to come also in this scenario.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
for so many women, I think that, we've all had scenarios where we were with someone and they were just like, are you done yet? Or did not even care or ask, or, and then they finish and they're like, oh, well,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. That was a
So,
thing. That
yeah.
happened.
Yeah. So I think, more to your question, the higher message of it is just show that you have an enthusiastic interest in your partner having an orgasm, but without putting the pressure on them to have one, because that makes it way worse. Like it makes it so much more difficult to have happen. But, there's this lovely middle ground. And I think, having some toys that can be hygienically played with is a great idea. I think we've given you a couple of awesome options for that. So go out there and have some orgasms and
and help
some
your
other people
partner have
have
an
some
orgasm.
too. Exactly.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Ariel, for being on the podcast with me. I highly appreciate it. I know you're a busy lady, and it really means a lot to me that you took the time.
I
So
am honored that you had me on your podcast. Thank you so much. And I'm so happy that you had people with awesome questions and you gave some really amazing advice. So I was honored to be
oh,
on this podcast where great advice is being put out there.
yeah. So please tell everyone where they can find you and find all your stuff.
Hi, just a reminder to everyone, my name is Ariel X. So if you want to find all my fun links, there's an easy website to go to. It's tapforariel.com, and that will take you to my link tree that has all of my websites, my OnlyFans and my clip stores. And if you are into the wrestling stuff, go to evolvedfights.com to watch other people wrestle and then have sex.
Yes, and if you go to evolvedfightsles.com,
Les.com. Yeah, that's
then
for
you can
lesbian wrestling.
see me in at least one.
Yeah. Yep.
And I am on Evolved Fights too, because we did one over the pandemic. I did one with
Oh, that's
my
right.
husband Drake.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was great. That was a good one.
You liked it. So go to her sites and find all those fun things and support her and everything Ariel does. She's amazing. And thank you so much for listening and joining us again. And I want you to go out there and be curious and be your authentic self.
That's amazing advice. I'm going to say ditto. It's all of that.